Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for today's card making video, and I'm going to be making this card today, or a variation thereof. This is a sketch challenge. This is for the Inspire.Create challenge that's on at the moment. So I'm on the design team for that particular blog. However, this time round I just didn't get a chance to post for the design team, but here's my take on that sketch, so I'll add this to the gallery there. Okay, so you'll see the sketch obviously in the associated blog post, and like I say, there is a link to the challenge, so if you can pop along over to there, you'll be able to see the sketch and you'll be able to see what all the other design team ladies made. Okay, everyone had a very different take on this. The sketch itself does feature a heart, and I don't believe anybody else actually used a heart, but I actually quite liked it, and I thought it would actually stretch me a little bit because it's not the kind of thing that I'd normally do. In fact, this is very not me card at all, those of you who follow me. So they're quite interesting in that, you know, it gives you these sort of sparks of ideas. Possibly something you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. Same with colour challenges, you know, you get you to mix colours that you wouldn't normally have used. So the keen-eyed amongst you will probably be able to spot that every one of the outgoing in colours is in use here, with Polish Pink, Papaya, Fresh Freesia, Evening Evergreen, oh beautiful, and then Soft Succulent for the card base, and we just got a little heat embossed sentiment there, and that's from the Something Fancy bundle. So that's the only stamping that we're going to be doing. These strips are stamped because they were strips that I had lying about on my desk, and they were offcuts from another project. So I had them and I used them, but today I'm not going to be stamping on them. We're going to do something different, just to mix it up a bit. Same sketch, different, you know, just using different colours. So these were all the outgoing in colours. I say outgoing, but you just never know. So I thought I'd use all the other in colours, the ones that came in. So Orchid Oasis is going to be the card base with our layer. I've got some Sweet Sorbet that will do for the heart, and then we've got Starry Sky, Parakeet Party and Tahitian Tide, which I was going to use for the strips there. Okay, so we'll pop these things to one side just for a sec, and we'll just work on what we're going to do with our strips for the time being. Okay, so the first thing first is we've got to cut our strips. So here is the Stampin' Up trimmer. So this just gives me an opportunity just to talk you around this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit maybe. Okay, so this is the trimmer that Stampin' Up carry at the moment in its lovely grey livery. So comes with two blades. The light grey with the spot on is the score blade, and then you have the arrow blade, which is in the darker colour there. So that's your cutting blade. Okay, and the arm just sort of lifts up there, and that holds your paper in place and snaps shut. Okay, we do have an extension arm as well, so if you want to cut longer pieces of paper, you've got that. The markings are really super clear in both metric and imperial, which is absolutely lovely. So I find it really nice and easy to use. It's quite a nice smooth surface that you can wipe clean as well. So I've had this a good old time now, and it still looks pretty nice and shiny. Okay, it's got little rubberized feet on the bottom to stop it from slipping about, and a little hook there if you wanted to hang it. It's a really great trimmer. I really like it. So, and I find the blades last blooming ages. So I tend to keep my score guy out of the way up there. Top tip from another demo was if you're transporting or you want to keep blades out of the way, you can stick some tape across the track like that, and it will stop them slip sliding around. Equally, at the bottom there's a little notch, which I don't know whether you can see. It looks like there's a defect in the plastic, but it's actually where the blade lifts out, so you have to sort of heel toe it into the track. But if you catch it wrong, they can fall out. So if you tape your blades into place, they're not going to move, and you can transport it without your blade falling off. I'm thinking that might not be a bad idea, just to keep your score blade out of the way, actually. You know. So anyway, horses for courses, but that's a little tip for you if you fancy that. Okay. There's also a ruler down the side as well, so if you are doing intricate things, you can do that too. So the strips then are going to be 1/2 inch strips. So we're just going to cut those. I always cut up against the butt bar here to try and make sure I get a straight edge. The length of these just happens to be they're all at 6 inches. And that should give us plenty of room to make sure that we've got everything we need. Did I say 1/2 inch? Yeah. God. Talking to you guys and I've forgotten what I'm doing. Brain like a sieve. Recovering from a bit of a cold, so I'm still feeling a little bit foggy. So those are those strips, and instead of stamping, which you could stamp, you can use anything you like just to add a bit of interest and texture to these, but I'm going to emboss. Okay, this is one of 3 of our online exclusive embossing folders at the moment. This is more of a, what would you do it? It's sort of like a Hessian-y kind of thing. It's kind of yeah, like a fabric. I've got this one that's almost like a sort of star quilt kind of thing. See the star shapes in there. Okay, and then this one's really bold dots. So if I open that up, you see those dots? Wow, blooming! That's going to be really textured. So these are 3D embossing folders. So they are an online exclusive. So you won't find them in the catalogue, but they are available on the website. Just click along to my website. The links will all be in the description. Now these will just about fit in here, so I'm just going to pop them in there. Okay, so that we can get these embossed. And the ends are probably going to get snipped and trimmed, so I'm not going to worry too much about it not quite hitting the end. And the obviously these will not fit through the mini machine. These are too wide for the mini machine, so you'll need your larger machine, and your base plate number 1 will tell you exactly which sandwich you need to use with our 3D embossing folders, and that's the base plate plus a number 4 plate. So we'll just pop that on the machine. I'm going to put that on that platform, and then I'm going to put this on top and run it through. So I do this off camera because it's just a bit awkward bringing it on and off in front of the desk. I've just got it set up here, so I'm just going to run that through. So I've heard all that clunking and clanking there, and we can just lift those out, and we have the most amazing texture on those. Okay, so it adds some interest without necessarily you know, bulking it out or having any extra equipment necessarily. Okay, right, so that's the strips done. Okay, so we've got our base layer, our base card, so that's those. Okay, so they're going to go on something like this. Haven't decided yet whether it's Starry Sky first or Tahitian Tide first, but definitely want the green in the middle to separate the blues. So they're going to go across like so. And then for the heart element, I've gone ahead already and used the heart punch pack. Oh dear. So the heart punch pack consists of 2 punches. So you have the scallop edge and a plain edge, and they layer together. Okay, alright. So the scalloped one I've already used to cut out 3 of these in vellum, which you can see on there. Okay, and then I've got a plain one in white, which I've actually sort of edged with the marker there, just so that I'm preserving some of my cardstock, because I don't buy a lot of the in colour cardstock. So if you're trying to preserve your cardstock, it's a good way to do it, by bulking it out with white and colouring over it. Equally, you could have just coloured a heart, right? So, you know, there's choices there if you want to save on some of your materials. Right, I'm going to sandwich these 2 together, and the reason I went around the edge is just so you don't see that white core. Okay, so obviously you'd have seen that if you'd have left it plain. So I'm just going to use some seal to sandwich that together. Put plenty on. If you feel like you might not be able to line that up very well, which is typically not going so well, just because you guys are watching. Did it straight off without when I was doing my sample. So those just sandwiched together. That just gives it just a bit thicker. Okay, that's going to have be stuck to one of these, but we're going to do some stuff to this first. Okay, so what I want to do is give the vellum a bit of lift instead of it sitting flat on the card. So I don't know whether it's easy to see, but I've just sort of curled up the edge a bit to make it look sort of frilly, if you like. And I've done that by using a stylus tool. Okay, so we can use the take your pick tool. So the take your pick does have the a stylus attachment in it, but I could not find mine. So we do have the stylus out of the Simply Scored that we can use. Okay, so I've got to come back out again. Alright, and then you want something to run this over. So I tend to use my foam mat from my Stamparatus for this, but any foam mat would do. One of them we're going to keep flat as sort of a base layer, but the other 2 we're just going to run around the edge with the stylus tool. Okay, now this will mark the vellum, but I don't mind that at all. So it's going to stretch the fibres of that vellum. You sort of follow around the edge, and you should see that it starts to curl up after a couple of passes on there. A bit like how I shape flowers. So hopefully you can see that that's gone from flat to raised up. Okay, right, and then when we layer those together, they're going to give us that sort of frilly, almost sort of like a petticoat look, I guess. So that's using a stylus tool. You could use your bone folder, you could use I don't know, the end of a pen or something. So you could go around the edge with your bone folder like this as well. So if you haven't got a stylus tool, it's something that you haven't yet purchased, but you've got a bone folder, that this will do the job as well. Just going around the edges, just making that sort of kind of outline, if you like, of that heart. And so all you're doing is trying to stretch those fibres around. Okay, and you might find you have to go around a couple of times, but that will do me just now. Okay, so a couple of ways you can do that. Okay, and then we want to layer those together. So like I said, I've got a flat one, just to sort of give it some a base, if you like. And then because we're going to cover it over, I've got no qualms with using my my tape. This shows through vellum, but again, because we're covering it up, I don't mind. So because this is all sort of bent out of shape, I'm lining up the point and the sort of dip at the top, and then the others will just sit where they sit, and if it's a little off centre it'll probably just add to the effect anyway. So this other one going on, so this is just, like I say, it's just going to give it just that bit of texture and oomph rather than sitting flat. Okay, so it's got this lovely sort of frilly edge to it, and then we can pop our coloured heart over the top. Okay, so again, you can use your Stampin' Up, whatever your favourite glue is, basically. Vellum isn't best friends with wet glue. It can pucker up, but for this project it probably doesn't matter that much. So there, that's in place like so. Okay, that's beautiful. So now we can just put all this together. So our heart's going to end up on some dimensionals, so we'll just pop our nice little, I'm going to put 3 on, like so. So that's ready to go, and then we just need to decide what, so no backings have come off that now, which gives us an opportunity to almost have a look at what we want to do in terms of the colours on here, and whether I want the Tahitian at the top or the bottom. It's really hard to choose, actually. Let's just have a look at it the other way around. I don't know whether it makes that much of a difference, if I'm honest. You're probably all shouting at me, do it this way, do it this way. But I'm not sure it super matters. I think I'm going to go that way because that emphasises the curved edge of the heart. But that is just me thinking out loud, really. No special thinking on that. You do it in whatever colours you like. Okay. So I don't often use wet glue, but this is going to probably help with this. So I'm going to use my grid paper for this because I can go over the edges and it's not going to make a mess. And this will just give me just a little bit of wriggle room time. So, and again, because it's textured, wet glue is going to be better for sticking that down anyway. So plop that down first in the desired angle. I guess you can make this whatever angle you like. The deboss side looks cool as well, you know. That's cool. Let's just do it. I'm going to put the deboss side up on this one. Let's do it. I bet you could run some ink over that actually and like bring out the texture on the lighter cardstocks. You know, with a complimentary ink pad. Probably go over that and get a different look altogether. Ooh, ideas brewing it while I'm talking to you. Love to see if you have a go at any of that. You know, there's the do they call it the letterpress technique where you ink the folder? Is that what that's called? That'd be cool. this one would work really well with that, I think. In fact, yeah, that and the spotty one, I think, would work really well with that technique. Right, that's going to be a bit yucky on the back. I'm just going to let that set for a little bit so I don't get glue all over my scissors. So I'm just going to pop that to one side for a second. Because we need to do the sentiment. Now the sentiment, I did do the black and heat embossing, but I decided I'm going to just go with black and white the other way around on this one. So I've just brought out, this is literally a scrap of cardstock, and like I say, this is from the Something Fancy and the coordinating dies. So we'll just get our Memento black on that. Nice. Make sure that's well inked, and it's upside down, not that it's going to matter anyway. Pull that around. So nice and well inked. Let's pop that in the middle of this piece of cardstock, like so. Beautiful. And then our coordinating little die here. This is such a super useful die. I love that set in general, actually, the die set in particular. There's some nice sentiments, but the dies are great. It'd be great if they're carried over. We shall find out soon. Won't be long before we if you're a demonstrator, you're going to start, we will get to see the new catalogue very soon. So if you can't wait to see it, you can become a demonstrator at any time. Just pop along to the website, have a look at the details. You don't have to do videos or anything. You can just shop with a discount. So there we go. There's our little sentiment there. Now this is going to layer across that heart, which has already been built up. So we actually need to put some dimensionals on the this end to balance that. And when I did my sample, actually we needed two together to get that height behind all the cardstock strips, the vellum, and then the cardstock heart. Two of these dimensionals stacked together gave me the right height. Okay, so I've just stacked those on top of each other, and then we can just pop tape onto the other end. That's ready to go. Heart's ready to go. Just pop those off. So we just need to cut away our excess on here. Now you do that in whatever you find, however you find the easiest. If you're right-handed, you'll probably find that it's easy for you to snip from the back, because you can see that nice and clearly. I can't. I have to do it from the front and line up the scissor blades like this. I don't know whether that's because I'm left-handed or whether it's just not how my brain works. I don't know. But this is how I have to do it. Get as close as you can to that white layer. Okay. You can always go back and get a bit closer afterwards if necessary. I think we're good. You'll have to tell from the back. Let's say I just find it really hard to do it from the back. I tried using left-handed scissors, but that was a disaster. I'm so used to using right-handed scissors, it just hurt my brain too much to even try. Because the blade's the other way around. Right, this goes onto the card base. So again, trusty seal. Layer that on. It's a full card base, so it's just a skinny layer. place her on the top. We can position our heart. Could have put texture on that as well. I felt like it might be a bit too much with all the other texture going on. And then this I'm positioning so it all sort of crosses all three of the colours on the background and across the heart, preferably something like straight, which looks about right. And so you can see how that doubling up of the dimensional means that that's nice and flat, hopefully. Okay. Alright, now we could bring that up and, you know, chuck stuff at it, but I want to keep it nice and simple and true to the sketch for this particular challenge. So hopefully you've enjoyed that and it's given you a bit of an idea of some little funny little embellishment bits that you can do. Quite like having that the other way around as well, it just gives it another look of the texture. So we can emboss it, we can stamp it, we can ruffle things and all that kind of stuff. So the world is your lobster in terms of where you can go with this. Hope you've enjoyed it. Again, just a reminder that all the links are in the description. Pop along to that blog, have a go, upload your image to the gallery. You might be announced as the winner. Okay, thanks a lot for joining me today. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.